All right, this video is for the lesson 10.8 homework. We are doing composite shapes today. Composite shapes and circumscribed shapes. I'll show you the difference. They're a whole different beast when we're doing surface area compared to volume. Volume on these isn't bad. Find the volume of each shape, add them together. These are a whole new beast because there's pieces we have to leave out. So let's look at number one. What we're trying to find in this, if I wrapped this shape with wrapping paper, say this is a present, and I'm wrapping it with wrapping paper, how much wrapping paper would I need? So I would need wrapping paper to cover, so remember this has got a circle on the bottom, so to cover that circle on the bottom, to wrap around this edge here, and then to wrap around just this part of the cone. Our formulas aren't really designed that way, so we have to edit them a little bit. And so what we're going to do on this page is we're going to write the formulas for all of these. All you've got to do is go back, plug in the numbers, and solve. Okay? So let's do these a piece at a time. Cylinder first. So a cylinder is, and you can see all these up on the board, total surface area is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. That's the total surface area. What piece do I need to leave out? Look at just the cylinder. What part do I not calculate on the cylinder? Is it a base or is it a face? It's a base. A circle is a base. So that's this part here. So remember, lateral surface area is 2 pi RH. So we need that piece. We need to go around here. What we don't need both the bases. We only need one of them. So to get this one started, it's going to be 2 pi RH. And then instead of 2 pi r squared, just pi r squared. All right, so a cone, why does that not seem right in my head, what I have written up there? Pi LR, yeah, okay. So for the cone, do we need the lateral or do we need the total? Well, the total is if I need to put paper on the bottom of this cone, on the circle. So just the lateral. So the lateral of a cone is pi LR. Okay. So we're going to need radius. We're going to need height. We're going to need slant height. So what's the radius of this one? What is it? 5.5? 11 is the diameter. Cut that in half. What about the height? What do I need the height of? The cylinder. So what's the height of the cylinder? 13. Okay. Slant height. This is the tricky bit. I have to find the slant height from that right angle. So we already said the radius here is 5.5 and this is 9. So remember, we can do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. 9 squared plus 5.5 squared equals c squared. And then simplify it down, do just the numbers. So 9 squared plus 5.5 squared is 111.25 equals c squared, which means we got to square root it. That's my slant height. Cones are usually the only ones they do that to you on. There's one other one like that. I will help you find the slant height. Oh, there's actually two. There's two other ones. So the slant height here is the square root of 111.25. All right, fill in everything now. 2 pi, radius is 5.5, height is 13, plus pi radius squared. And I'm going to run out of room, so I'm just going to keep writing down here. Plus pi slant height, and then radius again. Still didn't have quite enough room. And I'm going to type it all in one go. Whew. A lot to type in. Big, long, messy mess. Rounded to 2 numbers after the decimal today. 0.52 rounds to 0.53. So these get super tricky really quick. It does not take much. The square shapes are typically easier. There we go. That looks a little bit better. All right, so let's look at number 2. What shapes do I have on number 2?
Sphere and cylinder.
Okay, let's start with the cylinder. Do I need the lateral or the total of that cylinder? Just the lateral. I just want to wrap right here. So the cylinder is 2 pi r h. Okay. For the sphere, we've only got one option. So this is a sphere. Even though it's split, it's still one sphere. Because if I push them together, and that's all I need. I just need the curved areas of both of these. So that one is 4 pi r squared. That one's not bad. That one I'm going to leave for you to fill in. But that gets you your formula. Okay, square shapes. They can be deceiving. Okay? If I wrap this square, okay, it's perimeter times height plus 2 big B. Perimeter times height plus 2 big B. But where this circle is sitting, where the bottom of that hemisphere is sitting, I wouldn't put any paper there. So I have to subtract that area. So a circle, the area of a circle is pi r squared. Then I would have to do this piece, the curved area, which is 2 pi r squared. All right, perimeter of the base. So we're going to say this one is our base here. It's a cube. Every side is 7. So 7 times 4, perimeter is going to be 28. Height is going to be 7. Big B, area of the base, 7 times 7. What would the radius of this hemisphere be? Be what? 3.5. If all the way across this is 7, halfway across it is 3.5. Number 4 is a complete and absolute bonus. I'm not going to set it up. I'm not going to do anything. If you want to give it a shot, go for it. It's bonus only. All right, another square shape. So, the box on the bottom, pH plus 2 big B. This one's kind of weird though, because we're not subtracting a base, we're subtracting one of these sides, that base of that prism, which is a rectangle, right? See how each of these sides here is a rectangle? So this rectangle, it tells me it's 10 feet this way. What would be the distance this way? From here to here?
9 feet.
9 feet. So if I need to subtract that area, 10 times 9, I'm going to subtract, I'm just going to put a 90 in there. All right, then we've got to do the surface area of this prism. Okay, so plus. It's going to be pH plus 2 big B again, but we're going to change this a little bit so we can keep things straight. We're going to say perimeter 1, height 1, base 1. Perimeter 2, height 2, base 2, because we've got 2 prisms. And then we're still not going to wrap that bottom side, because that bottom side is included in this piece, so we're going to have to subtract 90 again. All right, so let's do P1, H1, big B1. So here's our base. What would the perimeter of my base be? Or what would I do to find it? Add all 4 sides. 19, 9. Then it's got this back side that's 19, and then it's got this side that's 9. So perimeter 1 is 56. Height 1, so if this was my perimeter, the only measurement left on that box is this one here, that 11. And then area of the base is going to be 19 times 9. So 171. Then we've got to do it for the triangular prism. P2, H2, big B2. So the perimeter for that second shape is going to be this triangle. So I would have to add all 3 sides of that. So 10, 13, and 13. So 36. The height is going to be this distance from base to base. We said that's a 9. And then area of the base. The sides that make the T or the L. So that's 12 and that 10. Remember, do 1/2 base height as a triangle. And so that's 60. Like I said, completely overwhelming, really quick. 6 is going to be complete bonus 2. 6 is not as bad as 4. And then I think we're just going to do one of these on the bottom. There is, on the quiz, there's one like this, but it's just the cylinder and it's a hemisphere. Okay? On the test, there's one like this, but I want to say it's a rectangular prism with a pyramid on top. There's none of these circumscribed shapes. These are a whole new level of cruel and unusual punishment. I'm going to show you how to do them so you're exposed. You will not see them on a quiz. You will not see them on a test. Okay. So the circumscribed are kind of like when we were cutting the pieces out when we were doing the volume. So box ones again are not too bad. So we can find the total surface area of this box. pH plus 2 big B. But we've got to subtract this circle here because we wouldn't wrap that circle. So pi r squared. But this piece in here where this cone sinks down in here, ooh, there is one like that on the test. There's one just like this almost on the test. Okay? Here's how it's phrased on the test. It's a wooden block and they've cut out a cone where you can stick an ice cream cone in it to hold it. And it wants to know the surface area of the block. I'll look at it again to make sure. But it's identical almost to this one. So, area of the surface area of the wood block minus this circle that's cut out. But where like the ice cream cone would slip in here, all of that would be covered. Okay? So think about, I don't think I have the cone over here anymore. Yeah, I do. Like say this piece isn't here, right? And it's sitting in a box and I wanted to paint the box. So where it's gray, I would paint all that. But then if I could stick my hand inside this cone, I would want to paint inside there too, like maybe seal the wood or something like that. So for this one, you need just the lateral of the cone. So you're going to add pi LR. My brain doesn't want to do that one today. Okay. Perimeter of the base. So here's the base, 8 and 16. So 8 plus 8 plus 16 plus 16, we get 48. Height. Since we used the 8 and the 16, neither of those can be the height. Height has to be 15. Big B. The two that I used for the perimeter, I multiply them together this time. And then we need the radius. So if all the way across is 16, the radius is going to be R. And then this one gives you the lateral height. Okay, so here is your task. Everything else on this page is bonus. All that I want you to do, and I will zoom out on this so you can see all of my writings. I want you to finish work on those three. Anything else you do is bonus. Okay? 3, 5, and 7. That's all that I'm asking of you today. Everything else is bonus. Okay? I know these are tough. Okay? Again, there's going to be, I think, 2, and I will check that question again to make sure.